Hello, everyone, and welcome for tuning in to the Nature's Epion podcast. And I hope everybody's New Year was good. I hope everyone had a great holidays. It's now over. Back to reality. Back to work. So, yeah, I hope everybody's getting their New Year's resolutions in and done. You know, if you quit smoking, you know, if not for yourself, maybe for the environment. You see piles of cigarette butts all over the ground. If not a better you, then how about a better planet, you know? Um, I've committed to like better fitness and eating healthier for this year. I had started that before the new year, but I figure might as well throw it into the resolution. But I had a stretch goal for my resolution this year. And that stretch goal was to bring more reusable bags with me to the grocery store. And so many times I go to the grocery store and I never bring them. So I have to buy more bags there. And where I live, they charge like a 5 cent sales tax on the bags uh to like disincentivize people from buying bags and just using reusable ones. And they used to be plastic, but they've changed it to make it better for the environment to paper. But paper still isn't like a good substitute if you want to help the environment because, trees. But I guess it is better than plastic considering how toxic it is for the environment and for us once it's in like the water cycle when it breaks down into microparticles, microplastics. But yeah, so I started bringing these reusable bags with me. I guess they're like nylon totes, and this was very difficult for me to do, and it's been quite the process I've been going through. And I just wanted to share my experiences with you. And the reason for the longest time I wasn't able to use these bags was because I felt it like demasculated me as a man, and it felt like I was just carrying like a woman's tote or like handbag or like a purse, and I had no real way of knowing like how to properly carry it and like still try to look manly while leaving the store. I, you know, I always felt like maybe there was like people laughing at me or looking at me because every time I saw a guy leaving the grocery store, he was always using like the plastic bags you buy, and I just thought, see, every time I saw someone using reusable bags, it was a woman. So it just seemed like this was like a masculine thing to do, was always to use, the bad for environment bags. So I've never carried these bags before. I've never carried a bag before. I have no idea what I was doing. Like all I can say was that I was confused. The people could tell I was confused. So when I first walked into the store, I had to make sure like the person with the like standing by the carts and stuff knew I wasn't stealing these bags when I brought them in. I told them, I was like, listen, these are my bags. I'm not stealing these. I'm bringing them in with me. I'm going to reuse them. And he looked at me like I was some kind of moron. Like, and I was just like, listen, buddy, I know like we're supposed to use the bags you sell, but I want to use these reusable ones to be environmentally friendly. And he looked at me like I was even bigger moron. I didn't understand why. So anyway, I just carried on with my business, and I did my shopping, got my food. I go to like the till. I make sure the lady like I do the self checkout. Make sure like the lady like watching me, making sure no one's stealing. I let her know. I'm like, listen, I ain't stealing these bags. She's like, she looks at me. She's like, I know, you dumb fuck. She's like, they say fucking Walmart on them, and this is a goddamn fucking Sobeys. We don't sell fucking Walmart bags. And then I was just like, holy fuck, Jesus Christ. Like, I was just trying to make sure, everything was fucking hunky dory. I didn't want to get in trouble or anything, but all right. Like, you must be having a bad day. So, I get my groceries, I fill them into the bags. And then, I don't know. So, I'm a lazy fuck sometimes, and I had a choice here. Either I put the bags into the cart and push it across the parking lot, or I work on my fitness goals for this year and I leave my cart in the entrance, you know, and I carry these bags across the parking lot to kind of like, build up my endurance and my fitness. So I thought to myself, new year, new me, I'm committed. I'm going to do this. So I had about, I don't know, I want to say like 7 bags of groceries. I was really getting like a week's worth or more. And, and I like to buy like the farm milk. So it comes in like these heavy glass ones, these heavy glass bottles, and I like to get, so I figure this might be heavy as fuck, but I got to do it. And, I was like, and I didn't really know how to carry them. They have straps and stuff. So I figured, okay, like, I figured if I carried them all like it was like a bag of dog shit, it would be like the most masculine way I could carry a bag. Like I was kind of disgusted with what I was holding, but like in a way where it's like definitely not associated with something I carry all the time. So I started carrying these like 7 grocery bags like they were bags of dog shit across the parking lot. And I always park at the end of the parking lot because there's always spaces there, and I hate just looking for a close space. I figure you'll save more time just going to a quick and open space that is available instead of like praying and waiting for like the perfect close spot. And there's about an inch of snow on the ground too. So I'm carrying and I'm trying to like maintain this disgusted look on my face, but it quickly turns into like a look of desperation as my arms begin to weaken from the weight of the bags and all the groceries. And I start walking across the parking lot. I drop a bag. Shit goes everywhere. Glass, milk, breaks. There's just milk, but it's snow. You can't really tell. So it's like, it's white on white, but there's like glass. And then I'm afraid like people are going to step in it and this and that. It was a fucking nightmare. So I didn't want to just pick up the bag with the remainder stuff in it. I want it to be like, you could visibly see where somebody fucked up and dropped their grocery bag. So, so I could maybe go back and get it later or let somebody else clean it up. I don't know. So I say, fuck it, no milk this week. And I keep trucking. And then I decide, you know what, I have to take a breather. I have to, stop for a second. And I decide to carry them like I'm a professional weightlifter. So I figure like that will look super manly when I do it. So I took the bags and I just kind of like lifted them up like above my head. And I had my arms like fully extended straight up in the air. And I just started like walking across the parking lot towards the car. And I kind of put I didn't want to look like I was running because I thought that would look really weird running through a parking lot. So I just like had like a really fast walk. And yeah, so I had my hands like above my head. I just, kind of like speed walked across the parking lot. I was cautious. Like I was always like putting my feet like pressed firmly into the snow so I wouldn't like slip and fall as I was running or like speed walking. Get to my car, put all the groceries in. It's cold as fuck kind of. I don't really want to turn back for this like bag. But I figure like, what's the point of getting these like new reusable bags if I want to help the environment if I'm just going to leave them like strewn about the environment like in this parking lot? So I have to go back, obviously. So I go back and I pick up like this milk soaked bag, do like this massive walk of shame. And I go to put, and there's luckily there's some garbage bins outside the grocery store. So I just kind of like throw the whole thing in there. And there's a guy having a smoke outside of the store. And he looks at me and he's like, dude. And I'm like, what? He's like, why did you carry that bag like it was a purse to the garbage? And it was the most humiliating thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I don't know. It was a horrible experience, but I figure like this is me now. This is my life. This is who I want to be for 2022. I want to be an environmentally conscious person and, you know, better for the earth. And in case you didn't realize, that was me doing a bit. I don't want to seem like a complete moron, but I thought that was a good story. Hope you enjoyed it as well. But yeah, I hope we've all reached our New Year's resolutions. None of that story was true, but I have been more keen on using reusable bags just because those paper ones they give you always friggin' seem to break, and you have to like carry them by the bottom, and you can't do like multiple bag trips. You have to do multiple bag trips when you go into your house, and that was just something that was. It's actually just something I wanted to do to be more convenient for myself. So it's a win-win. What else did I want to give a shout out to? I wanted to give a shout out to this nature photographer. What's his name? Renatus Jacaitis. Listen, I don't know how to say his name. Renatus Jacaitis. I don't know. He's a photographer. Anyway, he took a picture. This picture looks pretty cool. Check it out online. I don't think he has Instagram. He might. There's lots of hashtags of his photo on Instagram though, so people are obviously jacking his photo. But anyway, this picture looks like a three-headed deer, and it's just more or less an optical illusion of how the deer are all standing in the photo, but it still looks really cool. So what happened was, I guess, was that the deer jumped the shutter, and by that I mean they kind of like heard the shutter when he took the picture, and they like, I guess he was probably taking a few, and they all looked over, and it looks like a three-headed deer. So I don't know, just a shout out to that picture, since I'm trying to wrangle up a nature photographer to get them on the podcast here, do a little bit of an interview. Let's see what else I want to talk about. There was a study by the Max Planck Institute of Animal Behavior in Germany. Pretty cool little study. I think there might be a paper on it. It was basically a paper that showed that crows, like the bird, value different kinds of stick tools differently depending on the rarity and effectiveness of the tool. So it turns out that these crows kind of valued sticks with a hook on the end as opposed to just like a plain straight stick. And these hook sticks obviously it's harder to find like a perfectly hooked stick, I guess, as opposed to a straight one. So these hook sticks, they come from like more scarce plants and stuff like that. They're kind of harder to find that perfectly meet their kind of like criteria or needs for like however they're harvesting or like whatever the foraging task is for them. If they're trying to get like some bugs out of like a little hole or something. And in like some cases, depending on the foraging task for them, it could, I guess the study's shown that like these hook sticks could be like 10 times faster. And they would hold on to these tools longer or remember where they placed them, because I guess they realize that they're kind of hard to come by and they're a lot more effective. And I suppose that's how the study showed that they like value them more, is that they pretty much disregarded straight sticks. Like, I can find a straight stick anywhere, but this like hook stick, it's a little harder to find, so I'm going to keep it around longer and that kind of thing. So I guess we could say that crows are essentially in the Stone Age as far as their evolution is concerned. The next thing they just got to start fucking with is fire. And then once they have fire, they're laughing, and how much of a stretch is to think that maybe crows will start cooking things one day? Like they'll just like start seeking out like human campfires or like lightning strikes or forest fires and like just roasting whatever the fuck they're eating on it gently before they consume it. And they just seem to prefer it or something. I don't see that as too much of a reach. I mean, perhaps. I can't really see them starting fires. That'd be insane. Could you imagine what a problem that would be if like crows like just started like starting fires just because they're just like they just take like some like flintstone and just like start sparking it on the ground near some like dry grass, and they're just like trying to start these little fires, and then they're all of a sudden responsible for all these forest fires and like burning down people's houses. I feel like if they started doing that, humanity would just have like this all out war against crows. And it wouldn't be good for the species. So let's not imagine that. What else do we got here? Another cool research paper. I don't know if it's a recent one, but I came across it in my diving into like the interwebs. So I thought I would share that with you. We got this paper called From Fish Out of Water to New Insights on Navigation Mechanisms in Animals. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because they basically put a goldfish on top of like a robot with wheels, and it allowed the fish to like transverse the landscape, or like the landscape while in its bowl. And I thought that was the coolest fucking thing I ever read about in my life up until this point. I thought it was so cool, in fact, I had to immediately share it with my friends. I proposed it to them as a business idea. I said, guys, I got a business idea. What we do is we get fish bowls. We attach them on top of like skateboard like robots. Except, well, the wheels are more, universal. They can kind of move in all directions. Basically a shopping cart. And we put a sensor below or above the bowl that tracks the fish's movement, and that decides the direction in which the robot will move. And we can put them in pet stores, and we'll sell them to people, and then people can have, their pet fish follow them around the house or like navigate around the house. So even though they're like confined to like a bowl, and I guess we could get tanks on there too. So depending on the size of tank or bowl you want, your fish doesn't only have the ability to move around its bowl, but it can move its bowl around, your house. So if you got like an open concept house, you could move the fish. You could let the fish move around your house like a cat or a dog. And like, I feel like who wouldn't want that? Like you come home, instead of your dog or your cat coming to the door to greet you, they're excited to see you after a long day of not seeing you. It's your pet fucking fish. How fucking cool is that? And it's like a robot. So you basically have two fucking cool pets in one. You got a pet robot, and a pet fish. Either that, or you come home and your pet fish is dead on the ground and there's water damage all over your floor and glass everywhere from the fish going down the stairs. But I suppose we could put in like physical barriers to prevent that from happening, and also try to program the robot to avoid stairs. I feel like, you come home after a long day at work, crack open a brewski, the fish is standing, or like, the robot fish is like standing at the fridge door with you. You crack open a little can of fish food for it, throw a few pebbles in there. He's like, just says like, thank you. He follows you back to the couch, sit down, put on your favorite movie, probably like Jaws, to make the fish happy. And, just sit there with your chilling pet goldfish and you and your beer. I feel like it's got like, I feel like a lot of people would want that, have like, you could bring it out on walks with you maybe. The robotic fish, pet fish, on a leash. We could put it on a leash, have a great time. Yeah, I don't know. My friends weren't very, very well receptive of it. I kind of pitched the idea of maybe putting like a fish bowl on top of a Roomba, like a vacuum. So as your fish navigates your house, it's also cleaning the house. Like it's a double useful like incentive that I feel like, my friends aren't really appreciating, but maybe you think it's a good idea. So I'm sharing it with the general public now in case this idea, obviously I'm not going to make my millions of dollars off it now that I've shared it. But it's just an idea that I love so much that I just want it to exist in this world. So if I can't make it and be like, the engineer and the businessman that brings it to reality, maybe one of you can. And I just want to live in a world where I can come home to my robotic fish. I just want, I'll provide the ideas and not expect any kind of monetary return on it, just so that I can live in a world where you can be greeted at the door by your pet fish. It's a great idea. My friends clearly have dog shit for brains, but it's okay. I love them nonetheless. We're not perfect people. We can't be. And, maybe I'm in the wrong, fully aware that that could be a reality here. But, I feel like they've just missed a grand opportunity now that I put it out into the zeitgeist of the world, into the collective mindscape of the internet. That idea is forever out there. Now it's a competitive field. We could have, run the monopoly on the robotic fish market. Now it's up to the free market now to decide. But yeah, so what else can I say about that? I guess these researchers train the goldfish to use the FOV, the fish operated vehicle. I don't know how the fuck you would train a fish. Like you put a little helmet on it, little like fish jump suit, and you like, I don't know, take it around like some like driver's test course, and like, I don't know, maybe you give it a little pellet every time it does well on stops at a stop sign or something. I don't know. It tested navigating towards a target in an unfamiliar environment. So I guess they gave it something the fish would really want, like probably a bigger bowl or like a really big piece of food or like the ocean. They're like, there's your target. Drive towards it. Yeah, super cool. Thought I would share that with you. Hopefully you guys can connect with me on Instagram or something and let me know if you think it's cool too. Let me know if my friends are right, it's a stupid fucking idea. Or if my friends are wrong, it's the most greatest idea known to humanity in 2022 probably. The last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is basically, this is a big deal. This is for the first time in history that we know of that we're sending Earthlings, that we have the possibility of sending Earthlings to another star at approaching the speeds of light and could get there within 20 years. The hook with that, or the catch with that one, is that these Earthlings, they're not human. These are tardigrades and C. elegans, those roundworms / nematodes. They think they can. They think they found a way. Possibly a little research, probably more required in engineering, but they think they found a way to send these fuckers like 25 to 30% the speed of light, which is fast as fuck, son, and basically just point it in the direction they want to. So how are they going to do this? So they got this thing called a wafer. This wafer is they call it like a wafer spacecraft. It's powered by a laser beam. It's powered by laser beam photons, so basically light. And this thing, in theory, could go from Earth to Mars in like 3 minutes, or the nearest star in 20 years. So that should give you an idea about how fucking far the nearest sun is, like our nearest star is from us. This is from the University of California, by the way. So I guess they found that that the mass of these crafts, that these wafer spacecrafts could reach about a gram level or higher in like weight, I suppose. So that made it sort of, when they discovered that or realized that, they quickly realized, fuck, we can send life forms. Either so they could send the nematodes or the tardigrades, but they could also send like I guess micro robots, like microscopic robots and stuff like that. The sea elegans, they've been to space before. They're no newbie to it. They've been to the International Space Station. They've been on the space shuttle, and they even survived the tragic disintegration of the Columbia Space Shuttle. So the thing is with tardigrades, or more affectionately called water bears, they can actually be put into like suspended animation. So all their like biological effects are basically just like turned off. They're basically put into like a state of death, but they're able to come back to life. And they feel like they could probably put them into this, suspended animation, send them off onto this like space wafer towards the desired location. So probably like the next closest solar system, next closest star. And then they can and I guess they have a way to precisely monitor for detectable effects of interstellar travel on their biology. And they can relay that information back to Earth with photonic communication. So this, I think, it could also possibly go nowhere. It might be like a massive new field into like space exploration for humanity. And I mean, it's one small step for Earth kind, one giant, I fucked that up, I don't even know. But it's like, hey, it may not be humans, but it's still Earthlings. Like, we're doing things. We're doing things, guys. We're getting them. We're going places. We're going places fast. 25%, 30% the speed of light. Fucking huge. But like, could you imagine we send like these nematodes and these tardigrades, basically like these like macroscopic insects or like bugs or whatever the fuck they are, to like this new planet, and they just completely fuck up the planet. Like, they're just like these horrible aliens, and like if you look at them under a microscope, they're fucking horrifying. They're just basically like a worm, and like I don't even know, like this like water bear like fish with the. Could you imagine like somehow the conditions on that planet like induce like hyper evolution for them, and they become like giant, and they just start like terrorizing this planet. It's just like fucking aliens, and then it's like an attack of the aliens, and it's just from a bunch of assholes on Earth propelling shit through space like 30% of the speed of light, just to fuck with the rest of the universe. And then Earth instantly becomes like the most fucking hated place in the goddamn galaxy, if not universe. And everyone just wants to figure out a way to fucking stop us from sending these fucking macroscopic things throughout space just because we can. Like, just fuck it. Like, yo, let's get them going. Like, and they just start fucking frisbeeing this. I don't know. Sometimes we move so fast, we need to take time to slow it down, and think about the repercussions of some of the stuff we might be doing may have. But nonetheless, it's scientifically exciting. Perhaps incredibly detrimental if they want to put these on an actual like planet or something. It completely just like fucks it up or something. It basically like, here's an invasive species, not just from a different continent or a different like biome, but from a completely different fucking solar system. Enjoy. Plop. Just drop it in there. Just fucking wreaks havoc. Attack of the fucking water bears and nematodes. Like, the two most savage creatures to ever hit Calaxian kind from, or whatever they're called on that planet. And then they just become known as like Earthlings. Like, they came from Earth. These fucking Earthlings. So they don't even think of like Earthlings as like humans anymore. They just think of nematodes and fucking water bears. Just like these, Earthlings are just known as parasites at that point on. It wouldn't surprise me. This like whole story, like, just wouldn't surprise me if that's what Earth becomes. It's just like this quarantine zone, just The rest of the universe is just like, just stay the fuck away from us, you pieces of shit. Can't fucking stand you. Anyway, I think that's all I got for today, folks. A little half-hour banger for you. Hopefully it was a pretty good episode. I hope people listen long enough to know that first part wasn't true and just thinks I'm a fucking weirdo for the rest of my life. But hopefully they listen through. If you're a nature photographer, if you're into the outdoors, if you're into outdoor recreation of any kind, if you're into environmentalism and, you're rocking it, reach out to me on Instagram, send me a message. We can do up an interview. I don't care how small time you are, how big time you are. We can do a chat, a little bit of a chat maybe. Hopefully we do an hour. We can do an hour or something together, just talking about, shit you like to do for fun, some of your best stories you got. You can find me on Instagram at Epyon Explores, EPYONEXPLORES. If you're enjoying the content I'm putting out, it always does me a great help by, following me and supporting me on Instagram and like Spotify or whatever, wherever you get your podcast, hit that like button, that little subscribe button. Some platforms have the notification bell. You give that a hit, so it gives you a ringle dingle. And then you got, what is it? I don't know. Comment sections. Is there comment sections on these things? Throw a little comment. Share is probably the biggest one you could do to help. Rate's like a new button you can do. You can rate her up. Obviously I want to get high ratings. I want to be, considered good, but maybe I'm not good. I'm probably not, but maybe you can lie for me. I don't know. I'm not asking you to lie. I don't want you to be a liar, but give it your honest opinion. If I'm a 2, give me a 2, because then I can improve and I can become a 5. If you tell me I'm a 5 all the time when I'm actually a 2, I'm going to stay a 2 for the rest of my goddamn life. Nobody wants to be a 2 for the rest of their life. They want to be 5s. But the sharing it would be the best thing you could do, even by word of mouth, just sharing with a friend with similar interests as you. Like, hey man, I heard you like nematodes and like 3-headed deer and, using reusable grocery bags. I think you might enjoy this podcast, bruh. Just give it a check. I gave it a 2.5, but I think you might give it a 3. Give it a look. I think that always helps, So anyway, guys, this has been a blast. I hope you enjoyed. I think this is episode 14 of the Nature's Epyon podcast. Check it out. All right. Until next time. Cheers.